Hello and welcome. This is Notibot ENG. Tonight, we bring you the latest updates on a complex web of international tensions. Iran has been at the center of global attention, with a diplomatic rift escalating in Argentina and a shocking claim by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Additionally, the Middle East has witnessed a surge in drone attacks and military operations. We'll take you through the latest developments, from Saudi Arabia to the United States, and explore the implications for the global economy. Let's get started with our news recap. Tensions between Argentina and Iran have escalated, following the expulsion of an Iranian diplomat, amid a long-standing dispute over the blacklisting of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Argentina has taken a significant step in its diplomatic relations with Iran, expelling the Iranian charge d'affaires in Buenos Aires, Mohsen Tehrani, amid a growing rift between the two countries. This decision comes in response to an earlier Iranian statement that rejected Argentina's designation of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, as a terrorist group. The Iranian Foreign Ministry had condemned Argentina's move, calling it an action against Iran's security and national interests. Tehran argued that the decision was made under the influence of inducements and pressures from the Israeli government, which it described as genocidal and occupying. The move has been seen as a significant escalation in tensions between the two countries. Argentina's decision to label the IRGC as a terrorist group has been widely backed by the United States and several European countries. The U.S. labeled the IRGC as a terrorist group in 2019, and several other countries have since followed suit. The European Union blacklisted the IRGC in January, citing its involvement in terrorist activities. The move has significant implications for Argentina's relations with Iran, as well as its stance on regional issues. Argentina has taken a strong pro-Israel stance under President Javier Milei, who has described himself as the most Zionist president in the world. This alignment with Israel has been seen as a significant departure from Argentina's traditional diplomatic approach. The decision to expel the Iranian charge d'affaires is a clear indication of Argentina's commitment to its pro-Israel stance, and the implications for its relations with Iran are likely to be significant. Following reports of escalating tensions in the region, Iran's elite Revolutionary Guards Corps have reportedly launched a surprise attack on a key Amazon facility. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has launched attacks on an Amazon cloud computing center in Bahrain, according to state media outlet IRNA. The IRGC claims the retaliatory strikes are in response to U.S. attacks, and they've issued a warning to major U.S. tech firms. On Wednesday, the IRGC released a list of U.S. tech companies, including Apple, Google, and Microsoft, that they've identified as legitimate targets. The list was posted on Telegram, a social media platform. The IRGC claims these companies have enabled the U.S. military operations in Iran and accuses them of being responsible for attacks against the country. The attacks on the Amazon center in Bahrain have caused significant damage and disrupted operations. The U.S. has condemned the strikes, with a statement from the U.S. Department of State calling them unacceptable and dangerous. The U.S. has also warned its citizens to be aware of their surroundings while in Bahrain. The incident highlights the escalating tensions between Iran and the U.S., with both countries engaging in a series of cyber attacks and retaliatory strikes. The attack on the Amazon center is seen as a significant escalation, as it targets a major U.S. tech company with a significant presence in the region. The incident raises concerns about the security of critical infrastructure in the region, as well as the potential for further cyber attacks and retaliatory strikes. As the situation continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how major U.S. tech companies will respond to the IRGC's threats and warnings. A global web of cyber threats and military strikes is expanding, as attacks on critical infrastructure are taking the fight online, with devastating consequences worldwide. On Thursday, 2 drones targeted a U.S. diplomatic facility near Baghdad airport in Iraq, according to security sources. The attack comes as tensions between the U.S. and Iran remain high, following a series of incidents in the region. Earlier in the day, the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, launched a cyber attack on an Amazon cloud computing center in Bahrain, according to reports by the Iranian Students News Agency, ISNA. The attack on the Amazon facility, located in the Bahrain International Airport, is believed to be in retaliation for previous attacks on Iranian targets. The incident has sparked concerns about the vulnerability of critical infrastructure in the region. Bahrain's Interior Ministry confirmed that a fire was extinguished at a company facility after the attack, and the country's Foreign Minister Abdulatif bin Rashid Al Zayani is pushing for a United Nations Security Council vote on a resolution to protect commercial shipping in and around the Strait of Hormuz. The recent escalation in tensions is attributed to the U.S.'s assassination of top Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani in January, as well as the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq in December. Iran's semi-official Fars news agency has listed several bridges as potential military targets, including those in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and Jordan. The U.S. has also confirmed that it has conducted drone attacks against Iranian fighter jets at Jordan's Al-Azraq base. The situation remains volatile, with the U.S. and Iran engaging in a digital cat-and-mouse game that threatens to draw in other nations in the region. In a surprise move, Russia's President Vladimir Putin is urging an end to the war in Ukraine as he engages in high-stakes talks with Saudi Arabia's crown prince. In a significant development, Russian President Vladimir Putin has called for an end to the war in Iran, urging intensified diplomatic efforts to achieve a lasting settlement. According to a Kremlin readout, Putin's conversation with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman stressed the need for a swift halt to hostilities. This move comes as Ukraine, which has been fighting Russia since 2022, has recently signed an air defense deal with Saudi Arabia. The agreement aims to counter Iranian drone attacks, which have been a major concern for Gulf countries in recent months. Kyiv has proposed an exchange of its interceptor technology for advanced air defense systems, leveraging its experience in countering Russian drones. This cooperation highlights the growing strategic ties between Ukraine and Saudi Arabia. The talks between Putin and bin Salman are significant, as they indicate a shift in the Saudi position on the conflict. The Saudi government has been under pressure from the United States and other Western countries to take a stronger stance against Iran. The Saudi-led coalition in Yemen has long been a proxy war against Iran, and any potential shift in their approach could have major implications for regional stability. The war in Yemen has already claimed thousands of lives and pushed the country to the brink of collapse. The ongoing conflict has also had a significant impact on the global energy market, with Saudi Arabia's oil exports being a major factor. With tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran running high, any attempt to find a peaceful resolution could have far-reaching consequences for the region. As tensions escalate following President Trump's address to the nation, oil prices have surged to new heights, surpassing $110 per barrel unexpectedly. The oil market is experiencing significant volatility, with prices surging past $110 per barrel following President Donald Trump's address to the nation on the Iran war. In his speech on Wednesday, Trump stated that the war would end shortly, but he also pledged to conduct additional, extremely hard strikes on Iran over the next 2 to 3 weeks. The lack of a structured path to a ceasefire and a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway through which over 20% of the world's oil supply passes, contributed to the increase in oil prices. The Iranian deputy foreign minister's comments on Thursday, in which he stated that Iran intends to outline a new navigation regime in the Strait of Hormuz, appeared to inject fresh optimism into markets. However, the impact on oil prices was limited, with U.S. crude oil remaining higher by 12% to more than $112 per barrel, and Brent, the international oil benchmark, rising by 8% to more than $109 per barrel. The surge in oil prices is a concern for many, as it could lead to further increases in the price of gas. The national average price per gallon of unleaded gas in the U.S. has already begun to rise, and this could have a significant impact on consumers. The Iran war and its potential impact on global oil supply are closely watched by investors and policymakers, and the current situation highlights the complexities and uncertainties of the situation. As tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate, President Donald Trump is set to address the nation regarding ongoing operations against Iran. President Trump addressed the nation on Iran, outlining a military response to the downing of a U.S. drone by Iranian forces earlier this week. Trump, who had previously said he was open to talking with Iran, stated that the U.S. would take strong action against the country in retaliation for the attack. The incident occurred on Wednesday, when a U.S. Navy drone was shot down by Iranian surface-to-air missiles while conducting surveillance over the Middle East. Trump said that the drone was shot down in international airspace, and that the U.S. would not be drawn into a conflict with Iran. However, The president stated that the U.S. would impose new sanctions on Iran, including measures targeting the country's oil industry. He also warned that any attack on U.S. forces or personnel would be met with swift and severe consequences. The military response has raised concerns among lawmakers and military officials, who fear that the actions could escalate into a wider conflict with Iran. Some have called for caution and restraint, while others have expressed support for Trump's decision. The situation is complex and volatile, with multiple countries and interests at play. The U.S. is seeking to maintain its influence in the region, while Iran is determined to resist what it sees as an attack on its sovereignty. As tensions continue to rise, the international community is watching closely to see how the situation unfolds. But with the world watching, it remains to be seen whether he can avoid a catastrophic escalation. That's all for today's news recap. We'll continue to bring you updates on the latest developments from around the world. Thank you for watching. If you want to stay informed, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. We'll see you in the next video.